Lewis Skelly. Oh, he's played in a lovely ball. It's Martinelli. Couldn't take the chance. What a pass it was to find it. Floated in by Rice. Fine goal! And a goal! An equalising goal! No, it's not going to count. It's offside.
You just see here, they just took too long, didn't they? Oh, that's not much, is it?
And Trossard has made a good run, and Martinelli's in the box. Trossard! Oh, good save.
What a save.
Brilliant stop, Donnarumma. Could easily 2 or 3 up Paris.
No, sorry, no, not yet.
Sure,
It's
got red against their team.
I think it's the blue and red. The blue and red. I swear, because honestly, look at it again. Look at it again.
You're right. I believe you now. Oh, never mind. I'm blind as a fucking bat.
I was just, you know what? I was just gonna say maybe I'm like that far behind that I don't know yet. But no, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, no, that's the colours. That's the Blaugrana right there, isn't it? That's what that is.
Oh my god, I can't believe I missed that.
Funny stuff. Yeah, that was recording, by the way. That was recording, and that is staying on. So
nice. Thank you for that.
That is not moving. And do you know what? Just because of that, there's no need for an intro because I can't bring myself to do like my normal intro. I just can't do it. I don't have the energy after that match, to be honest. So,
yeah, I mean,
everyone.
We could say hi, but we've already been laughing.
Everyone.
You know, we could have had a very pessimistic kind of opening, but we were laughing there. So hey ho.
Yeah. Yes. Because like I think if we did a podcast last night, as we sort of kind of discussed, but I'll be honest, I'm glad that we didn't because I've sort of regained my thoughts and I've calmed down a little bit. I've read some articles and stuff, do you know what I mean? And I've seen the hate, obviously, the inevitable hate from the pundits and all of the opposition fans, which is fine. I was expecting it. I went on Instagram happily thinking, all right, let's see what I'm going to do today. The one thing, by the way, that really irked me, right? I'm going to use that word now. That's it. It's copyrighted now. The one thing that irked me was that stupid tifo. What in the hell was that? Did they nick that from like Mikel Arteta's son's fucking bedroom or some shit? Honestly, honestly, that was someone's bed sheets. I'm pretty sure that was someone's bed sheets. Like, are you kidding me? What was that? I mean, considering the first match against Real, it was, the Thierry Henry tifo and everyone was going crazy. No one turned up. They might as well just given their tickets away to no one. Because literally that's who was there. It was absolutely just dead. It was flat. Yeah. It was flatter than the Coke that I've got here right now, by the way. You're
right. I've seen a couple of websites that were people saying, I can't make it. It's 3 tickets. This, and I thought, well, if I'd have known that last night, I would have jumped on the train and gone. I took my son. It would have been fantastic.
Would have been excellent. Oh, absolutely.
There's quite a few people didn't go last night for whatever reason.
Is it? I mean, was it a good thing that they didn't end up going because of that? I don't want to call it shambolic because it wasn't that bad. Like, it was 1-0 in the end, and the fact that we weren't 100% and PSG were doing brilliant and they still only managed to get 1 goal against us, I'll take it. I will take it. But before, like I said, before we get into that, I know we did the podcast just before the match, and first of all, predictions were just wrong.
I've just listened to it actually. I've just listened to it back and. We both, I right at the very end, we both got the predictions wrong. I think I mentioned it, I could see a 0-0, but just before we kind of went off air, I did say I was very worried, and we both did. We both felt it. Yeah. I just felt really worried last night, and I was kind of forced into a prediction that I didn't have no feeling. The only feeling I had was I was worried. I didn't think we would do something. And to be fair, we did, and we will discuss it. But yeah, I was worried. Our predictions were completely wrong, but I did feel that I was worried, and
I think I was closer with my prediction, to be honest, with the 2-1 to PSG, because it wasn't even so much the actual scoreline. It was just something that I was feeling, that sort of difference in scoreline. You know what I mean? That, like, you know, that 1 goal difference. But you're right, and it wasn't something. Again, when we do predictions, they're never anything serious. It's just like, you know, whatever funny stuff we can come up with. But yeah, it was compared to the first Madrid match. I don't know. It was just a different feeling, wasn't it? I think like you said, we both felt that. Even the fact that we did the podcast beforehand, which we didn't do for Real. I don't think we did on that day anyway. No. I don't think we did we? Maybe the nerves were a bit too much because this was our build up to the match, you know, because it was like 10 minutes before we even kicked off. That's when the episode went live. So maybe we don't do that anymore. Maybe next Wednesday we don't do that, right? We'll just wait until after the match and we don't talk for the full day, actually. And
I think we'll discuss it after we'll discuss the Bournemouth game, and then we'll touch on the rematch, should we say, but we won't do a prediction the night before or whatever.
No, we're not doing any of that. No, absolutely not. We're going to stay away from that, even though it is fun to just laugh at ourselves. I think it's the business end of the season, so no, I don't want to laugh. I want to win. So let's just, anything that we can do to help mentally and all that stuff, psychically, whatever, right? Okay, Stevie, obviously, like, you know, we're both in agreement that we didn't have our best performance, but would you be in agreement with it was a game of fine margins?
Okay.
Like, I don't want to. Obviously, we're not discussing, you know, sort of specific players, because I know there is one player that we both want to talk about, which we'll do very shortly. But, you know, would you say it was a game of fine margins? Like, you know, when you watch it, when you sort of watch it back, if you ever wanted to watch it back, by the way, it's on Amazon Prime. But, you know, I watched some bits back, but I didn't have any attachment to it the day after. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel anything, because obviously I'd already seen the match and I already knew the scoreline. You know, it was just one of those, you know, I don't know how to describe it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. It's just a weird sort of, like, you know, you're detached from it now. You're just watching it for what went wrong and stuff. But in all fairness, it's not like we did too much wrong. But what we couldn't do right, I think that's what obviously hurt us, really. You know.
Yeah, fine margins. Yeah, you're right. It was fine margins. We will discuss the individual margins that you discussed.
Sorry, was that Margin or Martin?
No, don't go there yet.
I apologise.
Yeah, no, yes, fine margins, definitely. We did speak about it last night prior to the game, where we mentioned that the team had to be up for it and not be passive in the first 20-30 minutes, and unfortunately we were passive in them first 20 minutes. So honestly, I was dying to get in touch and say, look, has Saka touched the ball yet? And this was 14 minutes something, and Saka hadn't touched the ball. And I was thinking, God, what's going on? They were awesome the first 15-20 minutes. Don't get me wrong, they were absolutely electric. Probably Barcelona, like what I watched tonight. So the first 20 minutes we were not anywhere near them.
No, that's fair, really. We can't really argue with that. But again, I just don't see it as them being so much better than us. Do you know what I mean? Like, where to the point where we should have felt scared, because if there was a bit of fear crept in especially after that first, obviously, you know, that first goal, and that early on, you know, definitely doubt must have crept in and a bit of fear. But I just don't think, yes, the first maybe up to 20-25 minutes, PSG were on top in terms of possession, the way they were passing it around. I think a stat popped up around the 24-minute mark where it was like 120 or 170 passes or something to PSG to our 71, and you're thinking, what? Who does that to Arsenal? Like, you know, and they did it. They just almost suffocated us in that first 20-25 minutes. And obviously, you know, the goal came so early on that you kind of sort of forget about it. Obviously, until the very end of the match, and you're like, oh wait, it's 1-0, shit. But so you sort of forget about the goal, but then you look at the performance, and yes, they were on top for that period of time. But the good thing with that came the fact that they sort of dropped the ball for the last 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. You know, they weren't that relentless anymore. They weren't that intense anymore, which is good. And obviously we came back, in a sense, to the match. We sort of woke up a little bit. But, you know, it's too late. It's too late by that point because, you know, you're over halfway through the match. Players are going to be tired because obviously they're going to be out of position. They're chasing players who are faster than them, i.e. Due and Kvaratskhelia on the other side, who, by the way, had an amazing game. And I will take back everything I said on the previous pod about the whole Martinelli thing. I think I was drunk or high or something. I don't know what it was.
It was more like wishful thinking, wasn't it? Really?
It really was. But no, he proved why he was very, very good last night, and he caused Timber a lot of trouble. You know, to the point where I genuinely thought he was going to get red carded because of the whole yellow card. Anyway, we'll come back to the referee and stuff. But yeah, in terms of the general overall performance in the first half, yeah, they were on top. I think we had enough. I don't think. Yes, they did have a couple of chances, didn't they, after the first goal? I think maybe one chance they had after the first goal, and after that they just sort of, like I said, they just dropped off, and we came back into it. But unfortunately for us, it's the same fucking problem that we have. You know, especially this season, it's the same problem that keeps popping up, and yeah, you can't get away from that. Unfortunately, there is no magic fix to that. You know, the sort of the tape that we put over it with Marino up front and Partey and stuff like that, you know, unfortunately that didn't work because, you know, one player was missing, and this is the fine line that we've walked this season. And I go back to what I say, I just do not want to be defined by these next two matches and bypassing the fact that we beat Real Madrid 5-1, you know, home and away sort of thing. So I don't want the next match against PSG to be the defining one. But you know, for me it won't be, but obviously for pundits and, you know, media and stuff like that, they will not wait to jump on that. As soon as it happens, boop, they've got them. You know what? They've got it written already, waiting for it to be sent. So, but yeah, overall performance first half. That's my thoughts on it. I don't, you know.
Yeah,
it feels like we're repeating ourselves if we break it down too much, you know.
Yeah, it's the norm for every time we play, and has been since probably January, February. You know, we've just had this way of playing where it's nothing great, it's not pleasing on the eye, it's methodical, workmanlike, it's Everton-like, it's not saying Stoke-like. It's just a workman-like performances that we put in, week out. Our defence kind of looks after everything. Rice looks after things in midfield, and obviously Saka did look after things. But when he got injured and we lost obviously Havertz and Jesus, etc., it's been the same, hasn't it? Week in, week out, we say the same things, and it's evident to everybody what's missing. And as much as we don't like coming back to it, it's defined our season, hasn't it? You know, yeah, the lack of creative. Last night, I mean, I was so impressed with them, and they were showboating a bit, especially Dewey. What player he is, to be fair. You know, Kvaratskhelia, great player. They're just totally. I mean, Timber's one of the best right backs in probably the Premiership, to be fair, and he really had him on toast, didn't he?
He felt some nerves last night, didn't he, Timber? And I think that's the shakiest he's been, and I'm hoping that's just a one-off, and he'll just, you know, walk it off and then back against Paris. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the same stuff, and unfortunately it's happening in the Champions League, which sometimes you can get away with it, but most of the times, you know, these teams are too good, especially at this point of the season. Teams are too good nowadays. They're not going to forgive you. They're not going to, you know, Paris, in a way, if they lose next week and we progress through to the final, they will kick themselves for not finishing the chances that they did have against us last night, because it could have been over. It could have actually been over.
It should have been, really.
Before the first half finished, it could have and should have probably been over, because we were just absolutely anywhere near them in that 20 minutes, and that could have just sealed the whole tie. Put four past us, that's it. We're not doing nothing. We aren't doing anything, and that, you know. So in a way, that sort of kept my spirits up. And in the cold light of day, by the way, not last night, because I was fucking fuming, as you know, because messages and stuff. But you know, today it's like, okay, we'll just go again. I took the positives. Like I said, they didn't manage to finish their chances. Could that be something that they're going to regret? Possibly. And yeah, God, yeah, it was just. I do not want to see that type of performance in the Champions League ever again, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, just put the kids out. Just put a kid out there. It doesn't matter. You know, someone who's going to be a wild card. If they put, Oyedeji out there, for example, he could have literally been a wild card where Paris was like, who's this kid? That's it. He'll squeeze straight through. So, but unfortunately, it was what it was. And, second half though,
it's hard to speak. It is hard to sum it up. It's sometimes you're lost for words because of the performance. Sometimes you say, we played really well. We had chance after chance, but it was so we were so outplayed. I thought at times that I think that it hit the players and they thought, wow, we're up against a good team here. I know Real Madrid have the Galacticos, all certain world and renowned players, but we were up against a team last night with Galacticos and they were a team as well, and we couldn't get anywhere near them. I thought I was impressed with them. Obviously, I know they were good because obviously they did really well against Liverpool. They were okay against Villa, I suppose. But what I saw them, I just thought,
they were exposed against Villa, but because they have a striker, they've got someone as a focal point. I'm not saying that would have been the absolute difference maker, but again, you have a good player making those runs and getting into those positions. It opens up space for other players to come in, and unfortunately for Saka, that never happened last night because there was no one making those runs, and Trossard was just, Trossard centre forward. I mean, it is what it is.
Their game plan, to be fair, it's not much different to most of the teams in the Premiership, but they've got far superior players. So when they do execute that, because obviously we pressed them, they knew that we were going to do that, but they have the players to pass around us and the speed on the wings, and obviously Dembele, which got the ball through to Kvaratskhelia. They just ripped us apart, unfortunately. It's horrible to say.
They did, and the position, the formation and the lineup, again, we knew what it was going to be, right? So there was no real surprise to see the actual personnel out there. However, it was more than evident that it just does not function without Partey.
100%.
Right, so let's just talk about Partey because I don't. In terms of after the first half, both teams sort of cancelled each other out in a way. Again, we had chances, they had chances. We'll get to our chances soon as well. But let's just start right there with Thomas Partey, and he was a figure that, again, he makes that difference in the midfield, and I don't think Ruiz or Vitinha would have had such a good performance if Partey was there and kept everything moving forward. But unfortunately, Marino cannot do that job, and Rice cannot do what Partey does. Or he can, but when he's asked to do both midfield roles, it just doesn't work. So yeah, that was obviously the point that I'm sure every Arsenal fan or pundit or whatever it is, they would have looked at that and thought, right, well, they've got no one there, so that's the area that we're going to attack. And when you look at the stats, you look at the ratings, they speak for themselves. And obviously the eye test, that doesn't lie either. It's literally, the stats are telling me exactly what I saw. And if anything, they've been a bit too generous, for some players. So, yeah. So, but again, so the interesting thing, so this is where I was trying to get to. The interesting thing is, without Partey in that central spot, right, both wings, like fullback sort of thing, they didn't do. They got some of the lowest ratings in our team because again, there is no one to link play in the midfield.
They got exposed.
Yeah, exactly. Because when that ball gets played left to right, sort of thing, Partey is the guy who sort of goes, okay, let me just step on it for a second. Let's make a forward pass. Boom. Odegaard is free to make a run and do something. But like I said, him missing, it really hurt us. And I didn't realize like how good he has been for us this season until this very moment, like until yesterday. And it's like, wow. Wow, he cannot go. Under no circumstances can we let Partey go if you don't bring anyone that can replace him to that level. to that level already.
We haven't got anyone, have we?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So again, goes back to the transfer market, which I know we'll talk later. But yeah, so changes need to be made.
Yeah. No, Partey is a massive miss.
Huge.
But again, I'm as much as I love Partey and he's been one of our best players, I still think that PSG got their tactics spot on. They closed down our keeper from the back, so we had to play long balls. Madrid didn't do that. They had, like we mentioned it before, they have kind of individual lazy type players that are great ones going forward. Yeah. But PSG did their homework. They pressed us. We hardly played from the back, and that worries me because I thought even if Partey was playing, he wouldn't have stood at the time. And if we play them over when they're in their place and Partey is back, I'm hoping that it'll make a difference. But I'm still not 100% convinced because they played they dominated our back four so well. We didn't have time. We couldn't get out. I mean, we were going to talk about certain individuals at some point, but no, I was so impressed. And I know what you're saying about Partey, but I even think that he may have not made that much difference because they played so well. I hate to say it, but I was so impressed with them, and that's what I was so pissed off about last night when I was watching it. I thought, we're not getting out of we're not playing our normal game, but that's down to Arteta. That's down to his tactics. He should have known that. PSG just beat Liverpool and beat Villa. We shouldn't be aware of it. We kind of went into the game thinking, well, we beat Madrid. We can do it. We beat them over two legs. We beat them 5-1. Yeah. It felt as though the players thought they were better than what they were. Personally,
yeah, I agree with that, and you're right. That's the frustrating part about it is the fact that they went into the match almost thinking, beat Real, we're ready to go. Well, we've got these guys, we've already beat them once, which is like, well, okay, but we've said it's not the same team. Clearly not the same team. Dembele was sitting out for for disciplinary reasons. And look where he is now, to the point where he could potentially go and win the Champions League with PSG. You know what I mean? And carry this whole team. So again, it's a whole different mentality around it. And you're right, the tactics were spot on. It's just there was not much that we can do. And if Odegaard did drop into that role to pick up the ball, it just left everyone else exposed. Marino was absolutely everywhere, and not in the good sense of it. It was just everywhere last night.
Too slow, wasn't he?
Yeah, he just didn't know where to go, what to do, who to pick up. Obviously, first goal, Dembele's. I don't want to say I blame him, but it's just closing. Him and Rice just did not have that communication. For someone to go, Rice left him. Marino's like, well, you should really be there. A bit too late. So man, like you said, you can't help yourself. But yeah, so for me, he was a massive miss. But at the same time, I will agree with you where the fact that they had the tactics so good, would Partey have made a difference in playing out from the back? I don't know. I mean, after they sort of stopped, after they sort of died down in the first half a little bit, then we had more chances. So again, it was those situations or players that we could have used them, and obviously that ball could have moved faster. The right players could have been in the right positions to get the goals. So, so that's why I say he could be the difference maker. But if they lock us down in playing from the back, then I think that's pretty much Arteta out of ideas, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to bang on about it, and I want to say it now, but the difference is we haven't got any strikers, and if in the summer we don't get any strikers, then we're fucked. I know. I'm sorry, but that is the way I feel. And, if you put Gyökeres or Isak in the positions that Trossard had and Martinelli, we would be 2-1 up. We would be 3-1 up, possibly, But I'm going to bang on about it.
You mean Sterling can't do that, no? Is that what you're saying? We can't use Sterling. Is that what you're saying? Well, that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Well, no, but the problem you've got is it's evident, and I'm sick of it, and this is going to cost us. Do I really want to be as pissed off as what I should be? When we knew it, it's like we know why we're shit going forward, but it's like Arteta's knowing it, the board's knowing it. So are they accepting the fact that we're going to get the semi-final, so it's progressed from last season because we've got the quarters. Next season we're going to have this player, that player. We might not be as lucky as what we've been this season. We might get knocked out. You might not even make it to the next round. You don't know, do you? It's what pisses you off.
I mean, you can't. The excuses can't be, oh, we didn't realize that we were going to make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League. That's why we didn't buy in January or in the summer. If that is the reason, then unfortunately, someone needs to get sacked from whatever position that they have, because that is not acceptable. You can't be saying stuff like that. And if we get knocked out of this round, that's the end. Season over. It's literally season over. We've got nothing else to really fight for. Yeah, try and keep top 2 or top 4 at the very least, whatever it is. But yeah, it's been that type of season where even from the start, just nothing good came from it really. We saw it and we were like, oh, that feels different to the Arsenal that we just witnessed the season before and almost did come close. I want to move on to another player. And I want to move on to another player because.
Do you want to? I tell you what. Instead of going through them certain players that we know we're going to talk about, do you want to just do every player, a quick every player, then we'll focus on the main ones that we think.
Okay, we'll start from David Raya.
Yeah,
I thought he had a decent game. The goal, can't really do much from that, to be honest. And again, it was more of a fluke shot. It was more of a shin shot rather than meaning to do it. But it doesn't matter. I'm not saying, it doesn't count as a goal. No. Fine goal. Enjoyed it. But the fact that, it came off his shin, so I got a bit lucky. There's nothing really much Raya could do about that. I think that was more defensive errors. And again, you shouldn't be leaving Dembele out there waiting for a shot. Say whatever you want about the guy, but
should he be scoring from outside the box? Well, it was just inside the box, wasn't it? Should he be scoring from there?
No, he shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. That's where the issue is. The issue is
the defense. Obviously, Kivior, not Kivior, Cement, Marino. Yeah, he was at fault effectively for not closing him down and watching. He was marking space effectively, wasn't he? But I know it was in off the post. Could Ray done it better? I don't know. He looked as though he was flapping a bit again, and Flapianski back to his best. And I don't really want to slate him too much because obviously he did make a bit of a decent save against Doué. Was it Doué later on?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought overall he didn't do too bad.
Yeah, decent game. And again, if it was 0-0 or that goal had sort of come off that ball come off the post, we wouldn't be discussing David Raya really, because again, I just don't really think he had a bad game. Yuri and Timber.
He grew into it, didn't he? I think he really struggled, didn't he, in the first half, really, and he should have been sent off. Obviously, it was a definite tug of his belly. He got a yellow card because he was so great at holding the ball. It was Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah,
right then.
He did. Wow.
He practiced.
I don't think that was a yellow though.
No, he didn't get a yellow for that.
No, sorry. The first, the yellow early on. I don't think that should have been a yellow. I think that's what sort of ruined his game a little bit, to be honest.
It did, but he couldn't get anywhere near him, could he? He protected the ball excellently, and he really, really had him. And like you say, I was a bit concerned at first. He did grow into the game. Did he get an injury? I don't know, but he played a bit better in the second half. Whether that was just the fact is they kind of lowered the tempo and didn't push as much. Didn't want to obviously concede, so I don't really know whether he was better or whether it was just them dropping off a bit, but overall it wasn't his best game, but then again, who does have a good game against that winger?
Yeah, that's a fair point. And like you said, later on in the match, I think he did have the better of Kvaratskhelia. I don't think Kvaratskhelia had much after that sort of opening period of the match. So again, it kind of gives me, like I said before, hopes, and reminds me of the Aston Villa match when they almost came back and beat them. So that's what. But yeah, with Timber, very worried at the beginning because I was like, oh my god, fair enough, that yellow shouldn't have been a yellow, but now that you've got it, you need to be very fucking careful now, because 2-3 incidents like almost directly after that's where I was like, dude, you're pushing your luck. But in that regard, I respected the ref, but the fact that obviously he already gave him a yellow, it's like, well, you put yourself in that position now, because do you give him another yellow now, even though he deserved it in at least 2 of those other incidents? Do you give him another yellow now? But again, I'm glad that he didn't ruin the match. He didn't obviously, get rid of our player. But and I'm also glad that Timber has enough capacity about him to come back and fight, basically, and that's what he did, and I was quite happy with that. Saliba, I mean, Big Bill. What?
Big Bill, yeah. Again, I thought
go on, you go first. You go first.
I thought he had a good game. I thought he was a bit exposed initially because Kivior isn't as quick as obviously Gabriel. I think he was a bit exposed initially, but he did redeem himself a few times, and he kind of took the game by the scruff of the neck. I thought at some points he was driving forward, doing like a race, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
So I thought he had a great game. Potentially one of the man of the matches, him and possibly Lewis Skelly. But I thought Big Billy had a good game, mate.
Yeah, same. And again, exactly what you said, the runs forward, just sort of like, that's what he does. And I'm glad when he's in that zone, there's absolutely no way anyone's stopping him. His ball control is just unreal for someone who is that tall and sort of like long legs. And you think, damn, how are you just keeping the ball under just such control? But yeah, brilliant. Good game. And against Dembele as well. I don't think Dembele had much after that first goal, to be honest. We didn't really hear much from him. It was more Doué and Kvaratskhelia. That's what we're doing.
It was an interception that he made. Was it in the second half against Dembele, or was it Doué? I can't remember now. It was a really good interception. The guy was just about to shoot. I can't remember what it was now.
It was Dembele going through. But yeah, Big Bill was there. Cancelling that shit out. My boy Polish Gabriel. That's his full name.
Good old Jacob. A bit exposed again. A bit exposed speed-wise.
Speed-wise, 100%. I agree.
I was a bit concerned when they had the ball in and around the box. There was a couple of 1-2s with Doué and Dembele, and I can't remember what the other player was, and they got away from us, and it was a bit of a head in hands moment, should I say, but they fluffed the lines. He did okay, but I wasn't convinced. But he did okay, probably 5 or 6 out of 10, something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, we're doing ratings. Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, whatever.
I love it. All right, okay. Well, we'll forget about the rest that we've already talked about. We'll give them only to the bad ones, to the bad people. Lewis Skelly, obviously on the left. What do you make of him? I thought, personally, by the way, he had a quiet-ish game. I don't think he was that.
Didn't he set Martinelli up for his chance? I thought he played okay, Skelly. He was up against a great Doué.
Doué was...
But he held his own. He got caught out a couple of times, but, most left-backs would. You know what I mean? So I do think that he played okay for an 18-year-old. I'd probably give him 7 out of 10, maybe, if we're going to do goals.
That's fair. For me, I probably just a little bit lower, the sort of...
6.5.
Or lower end of 5.
Really? Didn't you think he did? I thought he did good,
he was good. Obviously, he didn't make any mistakes. He didn't put himself in any situations. But when you watch matches against like Real Madrid and in the Premier League, for example, he can be better. So that's why I was a bit like, well, this is when we need you to do what you do, but you didn't really step it up. And I'm not saying that he's not going to step up in big games. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, from what I saw last night, I don't think more than a 6. I think that's probably fair, to be honest.
But again, is that down to how well they pressed? I think that's all down. It's not he had a bad game. I think it is this
That's why I'm saying, like, it's not that he had a bad game. I just don't think he had his best game because of again, the factors are that they did press and do it. He's a very dangerous player. You can't just Skelly realised that you can't just be marauding up front, trying to take on players when they've got just 2 fast and strong wingers. So yeah, he was clever. Like I said, good game, but. Yeah, definitely could have been a little bit better, but that was just, that was a whole team thing, not just an individual. So, and then right.
Can't wait for this.
Okay, well, let's start with Rice first. Yeah, let's start with Rice first.
Yeah. I think, again, he was a bit anonymous. Him and Saka, the first 20 minutes were very, very quiet. They couldn't get the ball. It showed, to me, the difference. Obviously, that we talk about him being, one of the best midfielders in the world. He was a bit exposed in that first 20 minutes. He looked a bit I don't like saying it, but a little bit like sort of lead-legged, where he's not nimble. But we all know that his power and his strength is going forward, driving with the ball. But I just thought he looked a bit leggy, chasing Dembele, which most people would. But I thought he would have the better of a team here. He didn't. First 20 minutes, he was very, very poor, but he did grow into the game like he did, and he was probably one of the better players eventually. But the first 20 minutes, he was a bit poor. So scores, I'm going to give him 7. Just purely on the second half performance. Okay. Because he did obviously set up, I think it might have been Trossard at one point, or it was like him or Martinelli. But yeah, he grew into the game and he did a few of them marauding runs that he does. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was one of the better 3 players.
Yes, yeah, I'll agree with that. Eventually by the end of the match, yeah, he did prove himself to be better than the opening sequence. But probably for me, I'd give him like a high 6.
Oh, you're very harsh tonight, Big Lozzer.
I think because maybe a bit unfairly, because again he wasn't in the normal position where we like to see him, and again I like to think, justification time, I like to think that he probably was like, well, if I go too far forward, then who is going to mark this position? Odegaard ain't going to make it back. Marino, eventually he'll make it back. Like 2 weeks time. In 2 weeks time, he'll make it back. So I think he was very aware of that, and I think that's probably what stopped him from doing the runs. And again, when you've got 2 fast wingers and Dembele, who obviously can interchange with them, it's very difficult to commit yourself too far forward. And yeah, I think in the first 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I think Rice was just trying to do it both. It's like, okay, let me go up front, let me make it back. Okay, well, you can't do that now because they're too quick. The transition play is too quick. You can't make it back. So yeah, I think that's probably what contributed to Rice's sort of poor-ish start. But by the end of it, I think he realised it's like, look, I can't make too many runs, or Marino needs to stay back whilst I make these runs, or someone to cover that position at the very least. So yeah, it's a bit harsh on Rice, I know. Maybe okay, I'll go for a 7 because it was harsh. Yeah, man. But yeah, that's my view on him. And could he have played better? Yeah, 100%. But yeah, there's only so much you can do as an individual if the team is not at that level.
We could probably attribute part of that down to not having his mate Party there. To do the mopping up at the back.
Yeah, he's got trust in Partey, and he's like, right, I can just go, I can be a striker for the whole match, and Partey will take care of this. So, and again, it goes back to the psychology of the players. If they know that, oh, well, fuck, I need to do Partey's role, and Marino's going to do my role, and you kind of feel it in yourself. You think, can he do what I do, sort of thing? Because it's, definitely not, by the way. Like, that is the answer. There's no point thinking about it. There is just no, you can't do. Marino cannot do what Rice does. So, out of position. Hopefully next match Partey's back and Rice can do what he does. But yeah, and Marino, since we've already discussed him a little bit.
Poor.
Yeah.
Very laborious, very slow, very predictable.
Yeah,
in everything that he was going to do. But saying that, he's been asked to do a job that he's not comfortable. He's just come back from. Was he injured or something? He was injured. It was a bit of a 50-50 whether he was playing. So I kind of would give him a bit of a benefit of the doubt that he could have been slightly injured still, but still looked very slow, leggy. Yeah. And
that's not his role anymore, is it? That's not his role anymore, is it?
No, I remember thinking they were taking the piss at the times. I thought they were passing it backwards and forwards, going nowhere, but taking the piss and breaking our hearts. I think that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
5. I'm going to give him a 5.
That's more than fair.
Yeah, he scored a goal that was a bit harsh, to say the least. And he had a foul potentially that should have been a penalty. Yeah. So I'm maybe being a bit harsh on him because he got in that position. But you'd always think if someone was a proper striker, would they have scored that? They wouldn't have been caught. But there was a few players like that were a bit slow with the feet. I thought not technically as good as what I'd want as an Arsenal fan. You want You want someone technically great that's going to be in them positions. They're going to get it out of the feet, like what we've just watched tonight, Barcelona, Inter Milan. Them type of players in and around the box that just score goals.
Yeah,
but we haven't got them. So.
We don't. We've got too many fancy players who want to pass it around and trying to get the perfect goal, which again, it sort of reflects on Arteta's, perfect philosophy. Which I know that's not what he says or anything like that, but that's what it feels like. Because if it's not to the point, to the precise point that he wants it to be, it's not going to work. But unfortunately, it's a dynamic game. You can have the best plan / strategy to go into the match, but if one player is out of position for them, for example, where you think, I didn't think of that, that's it. Your whole plan goes out the window. That's it. Like, you've got nothing else, and that's the worrying part. Where it's like, can you bring something else against Paris in Paris? That is for me, and the fact that obviously that the midfield, they had a field day. At our ground last night, they just passed it around. They were loving it because no one was going to touch them. You know what I mean? And if someone did take the ball, like a Martinelli or a Trossard took the ball, there was no runners.
No.
There was no one running. Saka, like you said, Saka was non-existent for the first 20, 25 minutes, probably longer. I think by the end of the match, I read a stat where it said Marquinhos created 2 chances to Saka's 1. Marquinhos is the defender.
Nothing was great, to be fair.
Nothing.
Go on then. Let's move on to him.
Do you know what? I'll let you take the lead on this. Martin Odegaard.
Yeah. So I'm torn on this one. I'm not his greatest fan at the moment. And I haven't been since he came back from injury. But I have got a bit of a defensive staff for him. But I do think that he's been absolutely shite, and he has been for the last 2 months. And there's
This is your defence. This is your defence of him.
Yeah, he's been shite, and that's my defence. He couldn't get any worse. No, he has not done as much as what we would have liked him to do. I understand that, and I do think last night was on a par with his worst performance. But again, it's against PSG, and they were great. So, but he hasn't done it against the likes of Everton and Palace, etc., etc. So yeah, but my defence of him, which I did find some stats, which I'll try and pull up now. I think the problem we've got with Odegaard is the players he's got in front of him, which we've spoke about, haven't we?
Holla at your boy. That's what I've been saying, but I couldn't even defend him from last night. So.
No, you'll probably have the same kind of stats. So basically, I'll just quickly show you.
Yeah, read them out for everyone.
You've probably already got them and you know them, but so look, since the start of last season, with Havertz up top, Odegaard 14 goals and 13 assists. 20 games played without the German striker Odegaard, 2 goals and 7 assists. I don't think that means his goals. That means it's Havertz goals and
creating goals and assists.
Yeah, Saka. They've scored 11 goals when Saka plays. With no Saka, only 5. 15 assists, no Saka, 5 assists. Goals with Havertz, 14 against 2. Without him, wow. And 13 assists and 7 without him. So as much as he's been really, really poor, I think there is an excuse for him.
I've been telling you. That's what I've been saying. I've been preaching this like every episode. Every time you're talking shit about Odegaard, I'm there, pulling out these stats. And you know what? I wasn't even reading stats, by the way. That's just from watching the matches. No, it's clear. It's evident.
But when you think about it, he should still do it. He should still be able to
I agree.
Pass it to the players that are in place of Havertz and Saka. Yes, I know we haven't got Havertz making the moves. We haven't got Saka's 1-2s, etc., etc. But the players that are in their places, so to speak, he should still be creating for them. And it's hard. It is hard, and I'm not defending my decision of hating the fact that he's been rubbish. And I understand why you've been saying that the players are in front of him, but that's why I'm saying I'm torn, because.
I know what you're saying. If you're supposed to be this great player, you're supposed to do it no matter what. I get it. I can't defend that. And here's something else that I can't defend, and sort of proving your point, especially last night. And I sent you these. Against PSG, 17% dribble success. I don't even think I've seen numbers that low, by the way. Like, that's like body fat percentage, isn't it?
I've probably seen these stats, and I meant to tell you them, but this one sort of caught my eye more. But I know what you're going to say is like
25% dual success, by the way, and one chance created. So,
I know.
Last night,
it's unacceptable. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I've been sticking up for him and sort of wanting the best, and I still think he is a very good player. I just think last night, in one of the biggest games that you're ever gonna have, in the season, one of the biggest games you're gonna have in a season, and you don't show up like that. It's just I can't forgive that. You're supposed to be the captain. I can't forgive that. Give Declan Rice the captaincy, for example.
Take the pressure off him a bit.
Yeah, and watch him bring the players together. He's loud. Rice is loud. Odegaard isn't. I don't think he knows how to orchestrate the team like that. If he goes down, they're going down with him. And that's the worrying part. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of proved a little bit when he was injured that we're not really functioning without that creative player. So he's as much as I love the way that Arteta's rebuilt the squad, he's still rebuilt it to the point now, or reached the point now where it's like there is no fail-safe. That's it. That's literally it. There is absolutely. This is not a test. If it goes down, that is the end of that. And we've seen it now this season. We've seen it. Players get injured. They're dropping like flies. We're not winning. We're not performing. Because that's how tightly wound this team is. You know what I mean? Very high maintenance. Yeah. Which is not what we want. I know Man City seem high maintenance, but they can be because Pep has got 3-4. 30 to 40 sort of strategies that he can pull out from his playbook, so they can be like that. But unfortunately for us, or Arteta, it's like he's copied one style of Pep, but Pep's already left that style behind now. He's like, right, well, I moved on from that shit. I mean, you can keep that. That's all you.
It's like you say, we're one-dimensional because we've got no other alternatives, and whether that is Arteta's mind, it's his philosophy that he wants to play a certain way, and that's why he buys certain players, and that's why he didn't buy flair attacking type players in January or the summer. We'll never know, but like we say, you look at Pep's teams, he's got different options. He has fantastic players on the bench, which most teams would absolutely dream of. Even have half of their players that they've got to come on. It's embarrassing how many great players they have got when you look at the players that they bring on. But we just do not have that. It's embarrassing at times what we've got to bring on. And I agree. Is it going to change next season? And what was getting back to Odegaard. A lot of fans are asking for him to be stripped of the captaincy, etc. I understand, but I do think he's got to allow him one more year. To see who we get, obviously, in the summer and such.
Of course, and you're right about being the one-dimensional, by the way. And it's look at the players that we do have, like Martinelli. Obviously, I think he was brought in before Arteta. Is that right?
Martinelli, because
he was brought in just before.
Emery brought him through, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. It was like one of Edu's first signings or some shit. So again, he's not an Arteta player. Then Trossard, he's not a flair type player. He's just a player who to fill a spot and do a job. Hello,
you back?
Yeah, good. So I was saying about Trossard, he's an Arteta player and he's not the flair type. He is just there to do a job and, do the work sort of thing. And again, that's not really good enough because who do you bring? And he's trying to turn Martinelli into this non-flair player. It's like, just let him be. That's why he scored that many goals in like his first or second season with us, because he was just left to his own devices. Just teach him how to fucking shoot properly and just let him do whatever he needs to do. Right? Don't be asking him to, let's go back and defend. He's not that guy. He can do it, but if he does that, then he has no energy to do what he needs to do up front. I just don't think Martinelli has the stamina to do both sides. Saka, same thing. Like I don't want to see Saka defend, really. I want to see him take the ball, run at defenders, scare the shit out of them and take a shot. So it's very you're right. It's very one-dimensional and it's very sort of precise way of playing, and it's like almost like a grid system. Do you know what I mean? Very rigid, and there's no fluidity. So and again, that adds to why we're talking about Martin Odegaard, because if he's missing the players that were specifically picked to be there for him to play well, and they're not there now, he's not going to perform. So it's not good squad building when you look at it that way. I don't. Obviously, let's see what happens in the summer, and hopefully that squad will become better and bigger with better players. So, but up until now, I just haven't been that impressed with the squad building. It's been great. First 11 has been fantastic, but then, mate, where's your options? You've got Sterling and Jorginho on the bench. Are you mad? And you're trying to win Premier Leagues and fucking Champions Leagues and stuff. How are you doing this? I don't care whose decision that was to bring Sterling and Jorginho, but unfortunately, no, let's not do that anymore. Let's not go for Chelsea fucking rejects. Spend some money and let's.
This is, I mean, like exactly what you're saying. It's a pod on its own. Just talking about the sort of the squad building as such.
Which I think we should have that during the transfer window, and just see who we can see out there and see how we can build our squad. That'll be a fun episode, to be fair. But on Martin Odegaard, just to round it off on him. Not impressive at all, and even my wife, and she wasn't. It's not like she was sat there watching it 100% like I was, but every time she kept looking up, she was like, "Is Odegaard playing? Has he lost the ball?" It's like, oh fucking hell! If you can pick it up, then shit. I can't just. You know what I mean? In my right state of mind, I cannot defend that. So
no, I know it's a tricky one though, isn't it? Like you say, it's not a game of two halves. He's like a season of two halves. He's never been the same since he got back from injury. He had a kid, obviously, in December, I believe. So as much as I want to give him a 3 out of 10 for being piss poor for the last 3 months, I can't, because it's the lack of players, like you say, in front of him. So I'm only going to give him a 5 though, because I still think he should be decent-ish. I think he was the worst player on the pitch, personally.
Yeah, that's a 4 from me, that, mate, to be honest. Yeah. It's a very low 4 as well.
Yes, but you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, haven't you?
I do, but...
No Havertz, no Jesus.
Yes, but that's not just a recent thing.
No.
Havertz and Jesus for a long time now. So if you still can't adapt to a different style of game, even if it's... The thing is, the great players, they'll listen to the coach up until a certain point, and then they will be like, right, fuck all that. No one's playing. I'm just going to take it myself, and then let's see who follows. And then we'll have that conversation in the locker rooms, like, why didn't you move or whatever? So like a Ronaldo, for example, he just took games. He took games, and he's like, right, that's it. I'm going to score 3 goals. That's it. No one move. And he did it. Yeah. And I'm not saying Odegaard is going to be like Ronaldo. No, I'm not suggesting that at all. He doesn't have that ability. But, motivate the team. Get them in different positions. Tell Saka to run a bit earlier, or tell Saka to swing in from the inside, or whatever it is. Don't just be like, intricate passes after intricate passes. I don't want to see that outside of the box. If you're touching the outside line of the box, right, that to me means you are in shooting range. Shoot 100%. If you have no other options. Don't just like, let me dink it and chip it and like do this, and Saka, can you take it down with your left toe, please? Just shoot the ball.
But he hasn't got this. He hasn't got that power. He hasn't got the right power.
He doesn't. That was literally.
He's a five-a-side player. He's a perfect five-a-side player where you don't have to have a rocket of a shot on you. Maybe he's reached his ceiling. We don't know. We'll discuss this. In the future. Has he reached his ceiling? He's been a good player. The pundits and everything loved him. They were making him on a par with De Bruyne, but he's not really that good, is he?
No. Consistency-wise, fuck no.
No, I think Fernandes has probably superseded him this season. But hey, look, we can keep going over it. Next week he might have a blinder. I doubt it, because I did say last night Odegaard's got to come to the party. And we laughed about that, and he never. So 4 out of 10, like you say.
That's what I'm going to go with, a 4 on that one.
I think you're right.
It was just pure arse, really. That's what his performance was, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Saka.
Saka shit.
Yeah,
He was poor, wasn't he?
Yeah, again, same sort of feeling as Odegaard. Really, I can't say anything good.
There's all as much as a lot of players.
Mendes just had him in absolute pockets.
I didn't.
I don't know.
Again, like I say, he didn't touch the ball for 15 minutes. And then when he did, he lost it. He gave it away. He went backwards. I know they doubled up on him and at times tripled up on him, but the world-class tag is a million miles away at the moment. I love him. I think he's a lovely guy. He's not Lamine Yamal. He's not Iron Robben. He's good, but he's way below their standards at the moment. Whether he's unfit.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. There is always, external or internal factors, which is fair. We probably don't know stuff about that. But I mean, watching Lamine Yamal tonight against Inter, my God, again, type of player that just took the game. He's like, right, I'm just going to go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to find the space. And he did it. So, and Saka does have that in him, but unfortunately, it's the sort of power where he hasn't harnessed it yet. Yes, he's got spurts of it where it's like, ooh, okay, yeah, ooh, little sparks. All right, yes, yeah. Oh, really? 2 games and you haven't done shit, right? Well, that doesn't, that's not really that good, is it? This is why I will always defend when people say Saka is not world class. I will defend that. It's like, yes, you're right. He's not world class.
No.
And I think, a performance like yesterday, my God, no, that needs to go in the trash bin. That's where that needs to go.
I sometimes think it's down to the manager. I know he's doing really well. He was like top assist kind of thing before he got his injury. But I do think it's all about the manager. If a manager allows a player to express themselves and be like a maverick type of player instead of a robot, I do think Arteta likes his robots. He likes to control the way they do things, very methodical, like we were saying. So maybe it's down to Arteta that he hasn't progressed to this world-class player. If he went to, I don't know, I can't say Liverpool really, if he did go to Man City, or even someone else, like an up-and-coming manager that had some great ideas, would that let him flourish? You don't know, do you? You know whether he's stifled a bit with us. I don't know. Sometimes players become worse under Arteta, and then when they leave, they seem to be like these world beaters. Because a few players that we could bring. I do know a few players that we will talk about in future. I don't know. I just think he's a bit lacking of confidence at the moment. Saka, not as good as what I thought he would be. But again, is it down to PSG? We will never know.
Well, I mean, from next match, we'll definitely know for sure, really, what Saka can or can't do. And I think if he has on a performance like this, then, I think we need to take a little bit of the pressure off Saka because, he clearly can't really handle that sort of pressure. Yes, he's had bounce backs from worse times and blah 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 and all this stuff and personal matters, with the whole racism after Euros and whatnot. But you have to be a different type of beast to be a semi-final/final player. Like you have to enter a different realm. But if you're going to be that good, like I said, Lamine Yamal, he's like, yes, he may have not had a massively great season like he did maybe last season, but he's still the type of player where it's like, right, I'm locked in now. That's it. I'm locked in. This is semi-finals. I'm not going to piss about. They scored 2 goals. He's like, right, I'm going to go back and get it. So again, that's the type of mentality that we want. That's the type of aggression that we want really from our players. But sometimes they seem too nice and too soft. And again, Odegaard and Saka are prime examples of that. I don't think Saka has that sort of killer instinct. He's not a Harry Kane, for example. Harry Kane is the type of player that just frightens you. When he's running at your defence or he's waiting in the box, he frightens you. Whereas Saka, if he doesn't go on his left, I don't really... Yeah, I know he can do it with both feet. Sorry, but that sort of cut into the inside, shooting with the left sort of thing. That's his sort of trademark. Where it's like, well, once you get marked out of that, then what? Simple as that, really.
No, yeah, you're right. I think my issue is with Lamine Yamal. he's ultra confident, and Saka isn't ultra confident at the moment, and this could be down to the manager. But I think that Ranieri potentially has more of a chance of emulating Lamine Yamal. I know emulating; they're both only very young, but to become that type of player, he has that kind of guile in him. Whereas Saka, I never ever feel that Saka's completely in control of the ball when he's running with it. I don't know about yourself. And his shots aren't as strong as Yamal's. I don't know. There's just something not right about Saka. Whether that's his ceiling, I don't know. I'm hoping that it's not. I'm hoping that he just push on and becomes fantastic and does something great next week. But I think if I'm looking at someone to change a game, and I can't believe Arteta only gave him 2 minutes. So obviously it's Ranieri, which I thought was a bit weird that he didn't bring Odegaard off sooner. But hey ho. But no, what we're saying about obviously Harry Kane and such, and when you hear the fear, I think the mentality of the majority of Arsenal players last night was wrong, and has been for the last couple of seasons. And Wayne Rooney alluded to it again, and he got slated by the rest of the panel, but I thought he was spot on, to be fair, as much as he's whatever he is. Do you know what I mean? I thought he summed it up really about the mentality, and whether we can't just get across that line, whether it's because we're too nice, whether it's because Arteta's a bit stubborn, this, that and the other. But
there's no point. I mean, there's no point to ridicule someone who's telling the truth, because I'm sorry, but until we win and consistently win trophies, then the mentality is not there. I mean, I'm lost for words now, because I'm thinking who wants to have that conversation? Who wants to have that argument? That's not an argument. That's just a straight shutdown. Okay, great. Yes, fantastic. We all love the fact that the team that we were is just so far behind us now that, again, that doesn't even, we've sort of forgotten, and it's erased from our memory, to the team that we are now. It's okay, great, but basically that transition, that should have been, that team that we are now, this team that we are now, that should have been then, and now we should be the winners. We should be they're going for the second Champions League, or they're going for the third title in 5 years, or whatever the fuck it is. That's where we need to really be. And unfortunately, until we start doing that consistently, because again, if we win just one Premier League and then it takes another 10 years, does that mean that we are back? No, it doesn't. Liverpool, they're lucky that we were shit this season, that they got the second Premier League in 5 years. So yes, you can probably say they're probably back, but then you can make arguments that was Klopp's team, and they were still from that era.
To be fair, it's their second in 20 seasons, isn't it? They haven't won it. They've only won 2 in 20 years.
Yeah, true. I'm just saying. So I'm saying it's the first 2 in 5 years, though, isn't it? In the last 5 years, this is the second one.
It's the second one,
Yeah, so 2 in 5 years, but obviously before that, they took them 30 years? It was 30 years, wasn't it?
30. Like you said.
It was 30 years.
They won 2 in 30 years.
Yeah, when you look at it that way. But then I'm just looking at
They have been challenging, haven't they? They've been challenging for the last 5-10 years, haven't they?
Yeah, and they've been consistently up there.
And they won the Champions League, haven't they? So,
that shuts up everyone. And the fact that even obviously Chelsea managed that feat for a second time.
Yeah. They've won it twice. Have they won it twice in 10 years?
Yeah. Twice in
2016. Yeah, 2016 and 20.
It was 2012, the first one, and it was 2021.
Okay, yeah. Well, Havertz got the winning goal, didn't he?
Got that one, yeah. So it was the one other. But yeah. So look, I don't want to. Obviously, again, that's a whole different podcast as well. When you compare our trophies to our sort of top 4 opposition, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. By the way, because Chelsea have won the league in the last 10 years.
Yeah, sorry, I meant the Premiership, didn't I? Not the Champions League.
Yeah.
2016, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Chelsea have won it in the last 10 years. Man United have won it in the last 15 years. If you want to go a bit further than that, but obviously I don't want to delve into that. But Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City, those have been the teams, and they've won. They've won.
Yeah.
It's none of this. Yeah, they're going through a transition now, but they can be right, well, we won the Champions League 4 years ago. So we've got a bit of time to rebuild, whereas we've gone through phases of rebuilding, haven't won shit. We've gone to hell. We've fucking rebuilt again. We haven't won shit apart from FA Cups. Okay, FA Cups, fair enough. We beat that record, which is fine. But is that enough? No.
I'm not bothered about the FA Cup or the Carabao
I don't care about
Cup.
the FA Cup. Yeah, none of that. I don't care about
the
none
Prem.
of that.
We all know that everyone wants the Prem or the Champions League. Champions League is the hardest one because it's against the best of the best. Premiership is the longest because it's the hardest because you're playing 38 games. It is a lot of shitty referees, blah 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 blah. But no, I want the Prem. And like I said to you at the start of it, I'd rather have the Premiership than the Champions League. Yes, we haven't won the Champions League, but that's my bread and butter. I want the Premiership. You to judge against everyone, but
I agree. And again, when it's not for good reading, like we said last time as well, it's not for good reading looking back and comparing the trophies in the last 10, 15 years to our top 4 opposition. It's just, or even top 5 really, when you include Man United in that, if you're going to. But yeah, so it's not good at all. And with Saka, let's see what he brings. Let's see what he brings next week, and hopefully he can have that game where it's like this could be your defining game, mate.
But what are you giving him out of 10? Is he an Odegaard 4 or is he a 5? Because he did do slightly better.
I'll go for a high 5 on
High 5.
Yep, there you go. I'll go for a high 5 on Saka. Probably even pushing to a 6, to be honest. But there you go. Trossard. Let's talk about Trossard.
Poor. Very poor.
I thought him and Marino had a similar sort of game, to be honest.
I would have probably preferred Marino up front and Trossard in the middle. Personally, that would have been a better mix because you have the technical side of Trossard. Yes, he's not the strongest, but technically he would have been okay, whereas Mourinho's slow, but he's got the power and the height up front. That might have been a better angle to do, but no, I thought he's got
agility, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's a good point.
But no, I definitely think that he was pretty anonymous. Him and Odegaard had a similar shit game. What can I say about him other than he was anonymous, didn't do anything, had one shot on target, which in all honesty it was a good shot, probably should have done better. I was actually wanting him to square it at that point. I don't know whether you saw that. He had a shot. And it would have been a nice options. If he had squared it, I don't know who was in the box. If it had been Odegaard, then maybe not. But
that guy's allergic to shooting. That guy's allergic to shooting a goal.
Absolutely.
But I agree with you on Trossard. I think just that whole setup of Rice, Marino, Trossard in that sort of area, it was wrong. It felt wrong and it looked wrong, to be honest, to the eye test. And I hope I don't see it again, to be honest. Even in the Premier League, I do not want to see that sort of formation again. Marino, if he's not playing up front, he should not really be on the pitch.
No,
that's my argument on that one.
That's scary, that though, isn't it, when you think about it? Because next season we're obviously going to have players up front, and is he really going to play in midfield if we've got Zubimendi, Vardy, etc.? He's not, is he?
No, I don't think so, and I don't even think he'll be like to the level of El Neni at that point, to be honest. But that's a whole different podcast. And just round it off and finish it off with Martinelli.
Shit.
He had such a frustrating game. And I think I messaged you a couple of times tonight, or we messaged back and forth about Martinelli at least on 2 occasions where we were like, for fuck's sake, are you seriously not doing this right now? He's become that, unfortunately, he hasn't become, but he's becoming that player where it's like, okay, you had potential.
I know.
Had rather than have. So something needs to change. I don't know whether, like you said, maybe it could be a lack of competition. Just the way that he's been asked to play, and he's sort of been asked to come out of his comfort zone. I don't know. Is he a second half player, like a substitute?
You just know what he's going to do, don't you? You just know he's going to get the ball,
head down.
He's going to pretend to run, then he's going to go at the bar line, and he'll get the odd cross in, or he'll lose the ball, or he'll come back on himself and he'll go back, and it's so predictable. And what on earth is he doing with his head down constantly? I mean, surely Arteta must be trying to to coach him to say, you know, as a footballer, you don't have your head down. You look slightly ahead of you, and you out the corner of your eye, you see the ball.
Peripherals
Feet do
and
the,
all that
you know,
stuff.
and it's. I think everyone knows when he gets the ball, they feel the frustration and they feel the worry and the anxiety, and that potentially conveys to him, and he feels it, and it's. He knows that he's going to fail, and the whole fan base know that he's going to fail. So I feel so sorry for him.
Yeah.
It is. I do. I feel sorry for him. But again, you know, that shot, it was a good save. Don't get me wrong, because I don't know if you watched the interviews afterwards, and Sturridge mentioned something, and he made a valid point, and he said, "He's 6'5". You don't shoot and place it to his strengths, which is if he stretches, he's
stretching,
shoot close to him, because he's not going to have the reactions.
Near post, and that's what he should have. Yeah,
but you know,
I agree.
You know, we if it went in, we'd have been praising him, or if he'd have squared it or whatever. But I just think that's the naivety, and the front three at the moment are so bad. And when you look back on the Invincibles and you think about the Bergkamp and
we had players
Perez, and they would pass when
Reyes, all of them.
And what I used to always judge a great player on is the intelligence, and if they thought someone else was in a better position than them, rather than be greedy, they would square it, and it would look so pleasing on the eye, and they'd just pass it into the net. And we don't have that intelligent player, apart from Odegaard, which he's really gone off the boil, but he's that intelligent player which will pass it. But the rest of them are just so they lack intelligence on the pitch, and that's what worries me. Barcelona have got it in abundance, PSG have got it, City have got it, Liverpool have got it. We're nowhere near that.
No,
unless we get that, we ain't winning anything in the near future. We need to get that.
I agree, and I think it's interesting what you mentioned there with the player with the sort of, you know, mindset to see, like, to see the vision sort of thing. And Rafinha did that tonight. He did that tonight. He could have taken the shot on himself and tried it, but he didn't. He squared it. Ferran Torres was there, crept in, scored a goal, easy goal. You know, it was a lovely goal to watch, because, like, right, that's teamwork. That's what I want to see. I don't care about who ran at the keeper one time and maybe scored. No, if you're gonna do it, just do a proper, like, you know, okay, well, yes, you can shoot at him, but what are your chances? Saka's running there. Why don't you square it to him? So yeah, it was very, very, very frustrating for Martinelli, and he has been like that for a long time now. Not just this season, but for a couple of seasons he has been that guy now. Very frustrating, and we need summer. We'll talk about summer at a different podcast, but yeah, that's
we can't keep going on about it, because we know what we've got. This is what we've got for another 4 games. And we all know, and it is frustrating. We see it week in, week out. One week he'll be all right, he'll score a goal, and the next 3 or 4 games it'll be so frustrating. You'll think, what the fuck? So we can't say anything else really negative about him, because it is what it is. He's the best what we've got. I'd rather have him playing than no one, to be fair.
I did like oh god, yeah, no, screw that.
Well, that's all we got.
I did like when him and Saka switched for a very brief moment. They switched wings, and I quite enjoyed that, because I was like, "Ooh, okay, that was something different." If I felt something that I was like, maybe, oh, okay, you've just gone back to your normal. All right, then. Doesn't matter. So I guess it's next week that you're looking forward to, is it? but yeah, Martinelli, just a frustrating figure, man, for a long time now, and it's sad to see, because I really, really enjoyed him as a player at the beginning, and I really thought that he was just going to be someone extra special, but
he's become an introvert, hasn't he? He's really gone. He's really gone within himself, and
I think it's the way that he's asked to play. It can't be anything else. I think it's the way that he's asked to play, and he's not comfortable with doing that. But again, if he's right-footed, why is he running to the byline and crossing with his left? Or if he's going to do that with his left, then again, switch him with Saka one time. Saka can use both legs.
Put him down the middle and just put
exactly.
Put Tini on instead of Marino. Tini's got a great left foot on him, to a great cross. You know, switch it up again.
Exactly.
Try something different. I don't know. He doesn't.
And they played together. Tini and Martinelli have played together before as well, so they've got a nice little, sort of outside-inside situation going on. But I think that's what Martinelli needs. he needs the player to make that extra run from the outside. But unfortunately, the way that we play with our left back or full back in that sense, you know, he moves to the midfield, and then we have no one to make that run, to make that sort of overlapping run, and then Martinelli is forced to do it. So, and again, sometimes it works where you can cut it back down the middle in the box, and you know, we've got Rice there, or a Partey there, or Lewis Skelly, for example. But that's becoming very rare now, because
Maybe,
like you said, you know, they know what we're doing.
Yeah, maybe this is another reason. I mean, obviously, I don't know what your thoughts were on Xhaka. Yeah, he had his ups and downs, but the last sort of couple of seasons before he left, he was pretty phenomenal, really. You know, he was him and Pai, Odegaard were absolutely phenomenal, and maybe we haven't replaced Xhaka, and that's why Martinelli might be not as good as what he was. Maybe that's why he brought Calafiori in to play that kind of role, because obviously Mourinho's not that.
Rice usually does a decent job down that side, but again, you know, then it's just down to Martinelli, really, isn't it, to actually, you know, to be a bit more creative rather than just, again, one dimension of head down, run to the byline, cross it in, and hope that someone's in the box. But again, then that creates a chain reaction of, okay, that's fine, you can do that. Who do we have in the box? Sometimes it's Marino. Sometimes he's not making that run. Saka's on the other side. So again, goes back to striker, you know. So everything again. Unfortunately, it is a team game, and everything is affected by each other. Like, you know, all the players are affected by each other's positions. So yeah, there's squad building. That's something that needs to happen, and it proved against PSG, because we cannot seriously think to go into the Champions League next season with a limited squad like we had this season. You know, injuries or not, it doesn't matter. You buy 30 players, I don't care. You need the players to carry on and, you know, bring you something different. So, but look, Stevie, do you want to add anything else on any of the players, on anything that you've seen, that you've written down?
No, I do have a sneak. We will talk about it possibly on Sunday. I do have a sneaky feeling that we might do it, you know, in Paris. I did say it would, if you remember the end of the pod yesterday, I said it would be just the way Arsenal season's gone, that we'd lose tonight and win it next week. So I still stand by that. I do think there's another gear for us to play. Obviously, we've got Partey back, and I think if they will start strong. I mean, obviously we will talk about it, but I just want to say they will start strong over there. But if we can hold our nerve and put a bit of pressure on them, it could be nervous for them. You know, we scored a goal. You know, if that had been onside, you know, it could have been a different ball game. But we're going to get some chances. I just hope it's not killed off too soon. So we need to start, like I say, on the front foot, as opposed to being passive and letting them dictate. We need to start off better. That's for sure. We'll talk about that.
It's all in the coin toss. You know, who wins the coin toss? Do we start first? Do we get the kickoff, or do they get the kickoff?
But you know what? Did you see that? I was watching. Did you see the kickoff? They got kickoff, didn't they?
Yeah, they got.
And they played it right to our corner flag on purpose. I don't know if you saw that, and that was a great tactic, because that kept us. And they scored within 3 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. Didn't Bournemouth do that to us like a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah, but they kicked off straight from. They went down the right hand side, didn't they? Whereas
but yeah, it was just a quick movement of the ball, and that was the end of that.
I think what their plan was to keep us in the corner, push us up, pressure, don't give us space to pass out of it, and we did. But then we got caught. I think it might have been Saka that got caught with the ball, then that ball through to Dembele. I just thought it was an interesting tactic, something that, you know, I always think that Arteta is a great tactician, but I forget there's like millions of other managers out there that have probably got different ideas.
I know exactly what Arteta does, because it's not that many things. I agree with, you know, next week in Paris. We'll preview the game a little bit more on over the weekend, but next week in Paris we need to start very, very strong. We need to go for that first goal, like, you know, we need to smother them like they smothered us in the first 20 minutes. We'll just suffocate them rather than smother. Absolutely, we need to suffocate them. But
yeah, like they did to us. But do you want to, as opposed to doing a pod before the Bournemouth game, do you just want to do a quick prediction now, or
let's do it
about that rather than do one on Friday or Saturday, whatever it is?
So we'll play Bournemouth obviously Saturday. You know, last game of the day, and to be honest, in terms of form wise, we're kind of similar. with Bournemouth. So it's.
Can you see
it's
it
going
draw?
to be It's at home as well. Oh my god. No, I'm gonna go for an Arsenal win. I'm gonna go for a win. I'm gonna go for a 1-0 Arsenal. But again, at home, it could just as easily be another draw.
Do you know they're great? They're great to watch. Bournemouth. I know they drew against Man United in the last week.
Yeah.
They had Evan Nielsen sent off, I believe, so he'll be missing. But they do press very similar to PSG. Like high, they haven't got as good of players, obviously, but they have got some really good players. So
it's. I was going to say, I mean, yeah, they've caused us a problem earlier on in the season, the whole Saliba thing, but they were very, very good. They were absolutely brilliant last time we played them, and that was 2-2. Did you say, wasn't it? It was 2-2 in the end, was it?
When?
Or did we lose against Bournemouth last?
We
time out?
We lost Bournemouth 2-0.
2-0, wasn't it? Yeah, 2-0. Oh my god, yeah. Fuck. So I don't think we're going to make those same mistakes anymore. But real quick, in terms of the lineup, what we're seeing different? Are we even seeing David Raya in goal?
We have to.
Yeah, we have to. Don't we? What else are we going to put
I think
that's fair.
With what we did last night, I think that kind of give us a good grounding for the game against Bournemouth, because we're not going to face anyone better now. Liverpool possibly, but we're not going to face anyone as good as PSG were.
Yeah, I agree.
So the players will go into that match used to being pressed, I think we'll probably beat them, to be fair. I do think that. We have to, really.
Yeah, I'm sticking with a 1-0. So that's my thing with that one. Yeah, 1-0, and go on, give me a quick scoreline. I know we don't really want to do it, but let's just do it.
I was thinking 2-0. To be fair,
I love it.
I was thinking 2-0, yeah.
I love it. That was my initial thought, but I thought, you know what? Let's make it 1-0. Love it. I like it. It's the first time we've actually agreed on a decent scoreline together.
I think is it more than hope? It's more wishful thinking because of what happened last night, and we need to have some positivity going into Wednesday's game. But we do need the win. 3 points, regardless of whether it's 2-0, 5-0, 1-0, 2-1. We do need the win because we know who's catching us up. Newcastle, City and Forest.
Too many of them. So we definitely need those 3 points, no matter how they come. Even if we concede 2 goals, as long as we're winning that match, I don't care.
If we win that game, we've guaranteed top 5. So that's all that matters, really. If we lose it, then we haven't guaranteed it still. It goes on for another week. Then we go to Liverpool.
Oh my god! Imagine if they actually,
and then we play Newcastle, and
imagine if Liverpool actually managed to knock us out of the top 5, as well as beat us for the title. I can't do it. Oh my god!
We have to do the guard of honour as well, but we don't want to talk about that now.
No, Chelsea do.
Who?
Chelsea.
No, we have to do it at their home, don't we? Their ground next Saturday. They play Chelsea, don't they, this week?
Yeah, so Chelsea going to give them a ground.
It's at Chelsea though.
I thought that was the whole point of Chelsea giving it to them because they're at Chelsea ground now.
No, I thought it had to happen at home.
No, don't say that. No, I thought it was.
No, it's their home game, isn't it? It's their first home game since winning it. So the next team that comes out, because obviously they play Tottenham, so they hadn't won it. The next home game is obviously us. Fucking difficult, isn't it? Couldn't write it, could you? And by then we'll either be out of the Champions League as well.
Oh, don't. No, that's it. All right, we're gonna bring it to an end. That's enough. Yeah. That's enough negativity now. I can't take any more negs. So, right. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back after the Bournemouth match and to do a quick preview for the second leg of the PSG. And if you're liking the podcast, if you're liking the episode, then please leave us a like, a review, a subscribe, a follow, all that kind of nice stuff, and some good, kind words.
Au revoir.
Right. Yeah, we're going. Stay safe, stay alive.
Stay safe, au revoir. Si, halala. Buona casa di